Asian Network.
It's No Filter, and it's No Filter with the self-proclaimed hitmaker. And I think it's fair to say, even though hitmaker was applied to you and you kind of took it on and went, yeah, I'm the hitmaker back in the day, you proved it, bruv. PBN, welcome to No Filter.
What's going on, Bobby? How are you?
I'm all right, man. So, is that fair enough? Like you're a hit. Do you wake up in the morning saying, I'm a hitmaker, bruv?
It's definitely not self-proclaimed. To be fair, Amit Chana, Dips, Bamra, BBC Asian Network, they're the ones who came up with that title. And then I just stuck with making the music, man. Whether or not it's a hit or I'm a hitmaker is out to the public, you know.
There's me thinking you woke up one morning
and I'm a
going,
hitmaker. No, don't be silly, bro.
You know that whole wishing thing, like if I say this, then I will become it.
Manifest it.
Manifesting it, you know?
No, not really, man. I just stuck to what I believed in and was creative enough and put it out there and then let the world absorb it. And, you know, luckily enough, I'm still here 10 years strong, man.
I was going to say, you're still here. I remember when you first came out, I was doing the Friction show at the time. And I remember me and my producer at the time, Mira, talking about how young you were. If you remember Mira.
Mira Patel, of course I do.
Mira Patel, how young you were compared to so many other producers, just the entire scene at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
And you know, you got a bit of muscle now. You got a 5 o'clock shadow. You got
little bit.
Proper man's moustache
Not
now.
as good as yours. But yeah, obviously, man, it's crazy. To be fair, I did start this music industry at a very young age, man. I've kind of went from a boy to a man throughout this whole career, man, you know, and outside of music and inside of music, man. So many, you know, curveballs and everything. But yeah, I'm here, man. It's good.
Now, we're going to touch on the fact that I think you present yourself very formally a lot of the time. And by that, it's not a criticism.
Okay.
It's just that you're always very positive.
Yeah.
You're always very optimistic.
Yeah.
And it's all good. And, you know, sometimes it's kind of like, okay, bro, it's great. But, you know, we want to see some chinks in your armor,
See,
right?
the thing is, my 2 pence worth is there's plenty of artists out there sitting on their couches doing that already. Negativity, UK Pungra's dead. You know, it used to be this, it used to be that, and I'm not about that life. I never have been. To me, I want to embrace positivity. I want to put good vibes out there and absorb good vibes, and that's it, because there's plenty of bad stuff going on already. So if I'm there saying negative stuff, it's not going to help me. It's not going to help nobody. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, there's already a lot of people out there who do that ranting. And as you know, I don't connect myself with them people, you know? So the thing is, you got to be happy with yourself. You got to be in a good space, man. It's very important as a music artist, you know? It's always evolving. It's always changing. But to me, I've always kind of embraced the change and always will and evolve with it. But there's not to say there's no negativity in my life or I'm never having a bad day. I do, but I don't wish to kind of put that out there.
Okay,
you know,
well, look, the reason I started going into that is because I was going to take us down a different road about how possibly that's helped you in your success. But before we go down that road, you just, you know, brought something up, and that is there are other people out there who are on a negative level. You're not. I mean, I'm just telling you, I know you know this. To us, your brand is definitely all singing, all smiling, all dancing, most definitely, positivity. So before we talk about the other artists, don't you sometimes feel that positivity is a straitjacket? Don't you sometimes wake up and go, I need to tell someone about themselves?
I did, you know, when I first started out in this industry, the days of the message boards, and like, I mean, obviously Twitter's still there, but Twitter was really one of the main ones that came up in the social networks. And I remember so much negativity back then when I was trying to make a name and come out there. And what I started doing...
Just to interrupt you, what do you mean negativity? Are you just talking about trolls, or are you talking about people within the industry?
Trolls. I'm thinking more trolls and just like nothing positive to say. And you know what? I used to react. I did used to react, you know? If you could go back and find them messages, you'll see what I was like. I was a raging bull as well, man. I was a young guy, and I was like, really? Testosterone in me as well. And I used to react, and then I realized that I'm giving these few people, and I mean a few people, my platform. Like, you know, even I was blessed enough to have, you know, a few thousand followers on my Twitter back then. I kept on giving them my audience with negativity, and all I was doing was just rocking back with them and back and forth and back and forth. And like, this isn't positive, and this isn't why my you know, music fans are following me. So then I decided to just change all that, and I think over the years I've calmed down a lot as well, and I have embraced this positivity and good vibes, because life's too short. A lot of stuff's happening in my life, personal, people don't know about. People, you know, don't know about the things that I've been through. And in the industry as well. You know, there's been plenty of backstabbing and plenty of things happening, but I just choose to be in this mindset. That's it, you know.
Okay, so look, we'll go to the personal stuff later on. We've still got half an hour. You know,
sure.
This national station is yours, and
I appreciate it, man.
There's no filter, so don't worry. You don't have to censor yourself. So let's just rewind now. Forget the message boards. You did enter with a big bang, which is why I even mentioned I remember who was around me at the time when you first started. My producer back then. What was the industry's reaction to you, and what was the established industry's reaction to you?
Good
producers
question.
As well as singers? Because I remember at that time, for the singers at least, it was like, why do these guys even think they're big? They're just the beat makers. So what was that era like for you?
I'll be honest with you. My peers who were just ahead of me, making music, competing with me, I guess, on a nice level, nothing, you know, they weren't supportive at all. They didn't even acknowledge me, you know. And here was me, unknown name, working with unknown singers and unknown writers and unknown musicians. And I'm talking the days of Ajme Pinia and Jitte Jaan Punjabi, and songs which done so well for me worldwide, with no support from the established artists and stuff. But
how did that manifest itself, using the M word? Are you just saying people just didn't even engage with you?
No, they didn't. And you know what? Till this day, there's certain artists that still won't engage with me. And I know they see my stuff, and I know they see me making my moves. And it's a shame. But what I will say, on a positive note, is while I was making that name, the first people to actually pay attention were the big established acts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not the guys who are also trying to make a name and competing and being in there a few years. I'm on about the Apache Indians, the Malkeet Singhs, you know, these kind of names, these established, you know, the DCSs, all the guys I grew up listening to.
The legends.
And they were coming to me saying, yo, listen, you're good. And I love this stuff and do more of it. And before you know it, I was collaborating with them guys. So I was thinking, well, how come everyone who's on the hustle with me, like, you know, like-minded who are hustling, how come they're not supporting? Why is it that? And I think it is because I wasn't a threat to these established big super artists like the Jazzy Bees, for example. That's another, you know, name who's always supported me. They're comfortable, they're established, they're happy with their platform, and they wanted to see youngsters come through. So like I noticed that, and even till this day I see that as well, you know.
So in terms of the other artists, as you say, who were your instant competition at the time?
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
Is it just that it was competition and they couldn't bring themselves to send good energy your way, or was it something deeper than that, do you think?
I'm not sure. I think it is maybe it was just healthy competition. Oh look, the UK scene, it can be fickle, right? I want to headline this show. Why is he headlining that show? Why is he doing
Does that stuff still happen? Like
not as much as it used to.
Do you think that promoters book a show and then people look at the poster and go, why am I here?
Yeah, 100%.
Have you ever done
100%. Luckily the promoters have been pretty cool with me, you know, to be honest. But like I think it is that, and maybe they were younger then as well. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, listen, I'm not the perfect guy as well. When I was younger, like I said, I used to react to all this beef and all the rest of it. But I'm not sure, and I can't answer it. And I'm not saying this about the whole industry, because there's plenty of guys I've made friends within this industry, plenty of artists who have supported me and still do. But I'm on about the majority.
Yeah.
The majority decided to let's just watch from afar. Let's not help him. Let's not like give him a hand up or say balle tere, you know.
Yeah.
And that's
sometimes it's that whole thing of
and you know what?
A smile and some warmth.
Listen, I would have loved it if I had that.
Yeah.
There were certain performances I used to go to, and I was obviously, you know, the new guys. So I'd start off the performance and stuff, and I do a lot of miking as well. And I was there, and I was bigging up the next artist that's coming on. You know, I'm a fan myself.
Yeah.
Them artists used to come and just wherever, not even acknowledge me. I'm like, why? Do you know what I mean? Do we need that? I'm not going to name a certain artist. No, because this ain't about naming and shaming artists at the end of it, right? There's one artist.
Well, you can if you want.
Yeah, I can, but I'm not. Okay. There's one artist, like, he admitted to me, we went on tour together. Maybe people will work it out. We went on tour to Australia. We did a 4-city tour together. And on the plane, on the way there, he goes, I remember being nasty to you. I remember you coming to the gigs and me thinking, psh, you know, because it was all about me then, and I was the hottest thing, as in this artist. Yeah. And then he goes, I was wrong for doing that. And
what great emotional intelligence for this person to work it out later on.
And you know what? I could do nothing but shake his hand, because at the end of the day, listen, we're all human.
Yeah.
We all go through certain things that, you know, we're affected by certain external factors. Who knows what he was going through then, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just great, you know, really happy that he acknowledged that. You know what I mean?
So, as you said, you wanted to shake his hand. I'm not going to focus on him for too much longer. Like, honestly, how did that make you feel? Was it just like, yeah, safe? Or inside, did you really have quite a...
At the point when I was being blanked?
No, afterwards when you realised this guy had done some work on himself and come up with...
I was really happy for him.
Yeah.
For somebody to acknowledge that and then come up to me face to face and talk like
no
that.
One does that. No one really does that.
I salute him. I can't say nothing else. And after that, we've been good friends, man. And we're close friends now. Because music industry is like any other industry. It's a journey. You're going to go through pitfalls, ups and downs. You're going to be flying high. And I think once you've gone through a few of them things, that's what shapes you as a man. And that's when you can have these kind of conversations or shake hands and say, you know what? I was an idiot back then.
So, one thing that's come out of all of these no filters, especially with British Asian musicians, is the fact that there are camps and there are cliques and all that kind of stuff. I get it, because when I first started DJing, I was part of something called the Asian Underground, and it was like, forget EastEnders, all right? Forget Brexit. The politics was so intense. So I get that. So what was it like for you? Forget the fact that you've got this personal gripe from, on some artists not bigging you up. What was it like for you coming into a world of cliques and power bases and friendship circles amongst artists? Like, could you see that it was like political parties in the House of Commons almost?
110%. Not when I first started, because I didn't belong anywhere. I was trying to find my own feet, and my own sound and my own vibes.
I bet your smile annoyed a lot of them, because you are so, as I say, positive. I bet they thought...
This is crazy, because I'll be honest with you, Bobby. When I first started, right, I was this guy who I had a bit of weight on me then. Like, this is like straight out of university, pizzas and
you look great, mate. You look great.
No, honestly. And I used to wear hoodies and caps and I was nervous and I never used to smile. And people used to say that, like, you're very unapproachable. I don't know what happened. Maybe I just joined the gym. Maybe I decided to, become a bit more fashion conscious and have a proper logo, proper brand. And then before you know it, I started smiling. And now, for the life of me, I can't stop. Do you know what I mean? And it's like every video I see myself, it's like, yo, he's so happy. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy, but I didn't actually used to be like that. I think when I was comfortable in my own skin, it just naturally, it just came.
Okay. All right. So look, there's other things.
We didn't answer the question about the clicks. I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
So, what I found is once I was established and I started making a name and I had certain musicians around me and certain artists that I would bring in through, those clicks. And it was very unhealthy, and it did become us versus
because
them.
Everything multiplies. It's like if you haven't got that much of a problem with that guy, he's part of that clique, and there's one guy in that clique who's really.
I swear to God, it's like hyenas, man. They're on each other's ears, and it's like, and they're talking loads, and that's when all that comes back into play. The charts, the competition, the gigs, who's going on first, who's going on second, and it was very, very unhealthy. But, like, to me, it was one of them ones, we should be coming together and pushing the scene forward. And that's what I'm noticing today, and I'm really happy to see. I'm seeing how everyone is now pushing each other and collaborating a lot more.
Is that the newer generation they brought that through? Or is it even the older generation or the cliques? They've decided this isn't helping everybody?
I think when UK Bhangra actually started, I think it was friendly competition. I'm talking about the Heroes Up on Skis, DCS's days and that. I think after that, it went a bit sour. It got a little bit too competitive, and now I think we're finding ourselves again.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. All right, one last question before we play a tune. When all that click stuff was happening, it's literally a stereotype, a cliche. You do it when you're young, and then when you get old, you go, oh my God, that was so sad at the time.
100%.
So when all that was going on, and it was sad, how did you protect your mental health from it? Like, it's really hard not to go home and obsess over them lot who hate you or who you think who hate you. So how did you deal with it mentally?
Very, 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 very simple. What I realised was, why did I start this? And I started this as a creative guy who wanted to put creative music out there to a listening audience. Now, in between that, we're going to get this industry. And we're going to get guys who are going to hate you and love you, and you're going to get all of this, and you're going to get some media that support you and some probably who don't. But what am I trying to achieve here? And my outcome was trying to get to the listening audience. The listening audience responded.
Yeah.
So what I did, I embraced that. And what I mean by that, I'm on about just little small messages from fans or people who are supporting my journey or shows and the reactions I was getting. And that was the positivity I had to jump onto, because I realized that, this industry is not going to be the cleanest and nicest, and everything's not going to be hunky-dory. So I need to just focus on why I'm doing all this from the start. And until this day, I do that as well.
just looking straight ahead and marching off into the sunset.
Well, 100%, bro.
All right, look, we've got a whole load of your tracks loaded up. You want to hear the track you did with Miss Pooja. Just tell us a bit about this.
Do you know what? See, I'm celebrating...
Ashik, obviously.
Yeah, Ashik. I'm celebrating 10 years of Homegrown. Obviously, this weekend I was on Dipsy's show, but there's a story behind this as well, like an actual controversial story, and I didn't even mention it over the weekend because I completely forgot.
Come on.
But now it's no Phil, so we should talk about it. So Ashik, right, was Miss Pooja's first ever solo song. You know, a lot of people know this. She didn't want to do it. She was on Asian Network the other day saying this as well. I convinced her to do this as a solo song. We did it, and you know what? It went viral. At that time, it went worldwide viral. We were
when she first started, she was... People were freaking out that this new talent had entered the scene.
And the thing was, I think, because she was Queen of Duets and we did this as a solo song, it just erupted and people saw this. Hold on, she just, you know, she's there in all her glory. But what happened was, we put this song out as a video release first on YouTube. Now, YouTube, we were all confused about. We really didn't understand how it worked, how the monetizing worked. So, as soon as we released this song, we had various labels here and in India claiming that they owned the composition to this song. Yeah, that was my face, Bobby. So I was like...
I just did that confused face.
So I was like, why are they making a song and dance of that? This is it because it's exploded and it's going viral and everyone wants a piece of the cake? It got so bad that I'm not going to name the label, but this label, the videos on YouTube then was being uploaded by anybody. We didn't know how it worked. So it was uploaded by some random guy. I don't know, let's call him Sunny Singh, for example.
Sunny
Singh's page, right?
Yeah.
This video came up on YouTube and they're trying their hardest to take this video down. Back then, and this is like a long time ago now, that video was coming towards 15 to 20 million views.
Yeah.
It was unheard of then.
Yeah.
Unheard of.
Yeah.
And he got blocked. And he got blocked by this random label that had just been set up. And everyone was against me. The labels were against me to even release this song, claiming that it's ours, claiming that we want your PRS, claiming, and it was just...
Just try and just spell this out, especially for the listeners at home who don't know about this stuff. What do you mean? Are they saying... Oh, this was recorded, but it was recorded with us, and he ran away with the composition.
No,
I'm just trying to work
nothing
out
to do with the
what
actual,
their argument was.
Yeah, nothing to do with the actual product. They're saying the composition, the melody of this song doesn't actually belong to him. Melody was used on this song. So then I had to get papers from India, from the original, where this original composition came from, which was on a religious song somewhere, cleared the rights and everything. But even then, they did whatever they had to do to try and pull this track. Luckily, you know, we fought our case and we got through it, but I did lose 15, 20 million views at the same time. That video has disappeared, and I was just like, is this how fickle the industry is? At that point, I would have thought, like, do I just forget this? Because it's like, is it really worth it? You know, you're doing well and everyone wants to just jump on and take that limelight away from you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Even labels. So it's not even like artists. Sometimes even labels just don't like another label. We were an independent label. We still are. Limitless Records. Bobby, you know Bobby.
Yeah.
You know, the guy who's on the promotion game first. So this little independent label released this huge, humongous viral song, and the bigger labels didn't like it. You know?
And yet you're still smiling.
Of course, you got to, haven't you?
I didn't even know this, and I don't know why I don't know this. What's your real name?
Harpreet.
Harpreet, you're another Harpreet.
Yeah, I'm another Preeto, man.
How many Preetos?
I know.
Do you know my real name?
Balwant.
No. I wish.
Go on.
Paramdeep.
Paramdeep?
Yeah.
So where's Bobby come from?
Dude, man, come on, Punjabi house. It's Bobby. It just came out my mum's mouth.
Yeah, my best mate's name's Narinder Pal, and he calls himself Bobby as well. So,
there's loads of Bobbies, man. Yeah, I've met Pakistani Bobbies, Hindu Bobbies, Tamil Bobbies, Sri Lankan Bobbies. There's a lot of Bobbies out there.
Yeah, it's Harpreet, man. So
look, let's talk about Harpreet growing up. I just want to get a bit of an idea about your upbringing, you know, because you know, there's a lot of that unites a lot of British Asians in terms of how we are brought up, and a lot that separates us as well. So was it a typical British Punjabi upbringing?
110%.
Which city? Which city?
Wolverhampton. Yeah, Wolverhampton.
That's a bit binned, isn't it, compared to the Birminghams and the Londons?
It's Punjabi strong, man. Wolverhampton is very much, but home is home, man. And I was brought up on, you know, very traditional values, man. Mother and father, well, the father definitely first generation, and you know, they were the first guys who came here and set up the Gurdwara and done a lot of seva and the Punjabi Mabul in the household. That's all I spoke. One of my older brothers, he used to dabble in music. My dad did as well.
One of your older brothers, because this is interesting, that I'm just picking this up now, that nearly everyone I've had in No Filter nearly all of them mention an older brother who's done music. This isn't scientific. I'm just off the top of my head. Anecdotal evidence suggests nearly all of you guys had music pumped into you from a very important older figure in the house.
110%. I mean, like I said, my dad used to do Kirtan as well, and my chachaji, he was the Pradhani, like Wolverhampton Gurdwara as well. So every Sunday I used to go and listen to him perform. And like I said,
did you have a top knot?
Me?
Yeah.
Do you know, I had a good tea, but only when I was like 3 years old, 4 years old. It disappeared. Don't ask me when, I was too young to remember, but I did initially. I did, but so like the music was around me anyway, and my brothers and my sisters all into that Bhangra. They were all into these bands, and every wedding we used to go to, especially in Midlands, there'd be a Plastic or DCS or Safri or Mulkeet. So, I was that first kid on that dance floor, and I didn't used to go for anything else. I didn't want to mess around the whole. I just wanted to dance. So for me, it was music's always been in my blood. I think family and culture as well, Punjabi culture. I saw the very end of the daytimers. I was very young. I was too young. I shouldn't have been there, but I was there. So I saw all of that, and I wanted to be a part of it. As simple as that. And I think another, a guy who I have to give a mention to is Bobby Bajran from Limitless Records. He's an older brother of mine. He was a few years older than me, and he was one of the main guys. I mean, I think your documentary, Bobby was in that Wolverhampton gig, where it was that beach, and he wanted to set up a label, and so everything just kind of fell in place for me. He was Wolverhampton based as well. The label was there, and we stayed independent, and
And then you mentioned leaving university and kind of being fresh on the scene. So for a lot of people who even grew up in liberal British Asian households, the mums and dads don't go, yeah, fine, go ahead and do it. They'll usually go, you've got to have a full-time job. If you're going to do it, if this even gets in the way of your studies, we're going to kill you, right? So what was your mother and father's reaction?
Same. I juggled the music, trying to make music while doing my degree. I finished my degree. I went straight into work. And my last job, I was a project manager at University of Wolverhampton. I was working, and that was when this album came out. And when your Homegrown we're talking about, and when this came out, it was time to make the decision, because I had this inquiry for like a 5-city tour in Australia, and I'm sitting here in Wolverhampton. I've not been outside of Bilston, let's be honest, So I'm all of a sudden we're talking Australia, Perth, Adelaide, Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney. My parents wouldn't believe it, really. As in, what? You're going to Australia? What? All expenses they're going to pay? I was like, so I couldn't get the time off work. They were like, no, you're not going to have 2 weeks off to go gallivanting and do your stuff. I wasn't entitled to that holiday. So I was like, you know what? This is it. I've done my studying. The music's definitely making waves, and if I grab it by the horns now, I might something might come of it. And then I went for it, and I gave my resignation, and then I went for it. And my parents were definitely like, what are you gonna do? And
it must have shocked them.
Yeah, of course
it
did. But I think what started happening is, then it was full on. I'm waking up, sleeping, thinking about music now. There's nothing else now. Now I've committed to it. So I worked harder than ever, and I must admit they were my best years. Like, up until now, obviously there's more chapters to go, but I was so consistent on releases then, and it was tar, and then slowly auntie from around the corner started saying, and then when that started happening, my mom got proud, you know what I mean? She was going to go there on the Sundays and saying, the auntie over there, and people started like recognizing it, especially in the local community, especially my other family members, and then they were proud. And the thing is,
Famous in Wolverhampton. What more do you want, man?
What more do you want? Well, for them, I don't think they want anything else. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I took it on an international level, but to me, like, I think at that point they were like, you know what, this he's not doing a bad thing. He's doing Punjabi music. He's earning money from it. He's taking it global. So yeah. But it wasn't overnight, man, and it wasn't one of them ones where I just jumped in it and hope for the best. I did do my degree. I did work, and I do sometimes think, shall I go? Not shall I, but what if I stuck to the 9-5? I'd switch off at 5 o'clock. Now I can't.
Yeah.
Now I can't. People don't know this. Like, I sleep every night 3-4 in the morning. Like,
worrying.
No, just worrying, just overthinking. Just thinking, what am I going to do next? I need to get this done. Next gig needs to come in. Whatever it is, you don't switch off from music. Do you know what I mean? And that's a sacrifice I had to make, I guess.
Talking about sacrifices, if you don't mind me asking you about your father, who sadly passed away earlier on this year. We bumped into each other at the airport, and I could feel your energy, because obviously we were talking about this. I won't drill down too far into it, but everyone says losing a parent is the most stressful thing anyone can go through. So before we talk about losing him,
okay,
how was he as you got more and more famous?
You know, my dad supported me. I think I was, one of his favourites, dare I say, on here. But, like, he used to call me Raja, and he always told me, whatever you do in life, as long as you do it 110%. He was a very proud Sardar, Thed Kharku Sardar, my dad was. Like, everyone who knew him, right? He was a very kind of established community member, a lot of friends and all the rest of it. And I got all my wisdom from him and inspiration from him, and especially throughout my career, and he watched it, and he would, like, every time I'm going abroad, he'd be excited about it, he'd phone me when you get there, and then slowly started slipping away. I mean, a lot of people don't know, and I'll keep my, it's all personal to me. He had dementia.
Really?
So with my dad, he was taken away from us, slowly. It wasn't a random, overnight thing. It took 7 years, man.
Wow.
So this guy who is so proud and, out there and
sharp.
Yeah,
because when people talk about dementia, they talk about people losing their sharpness.
Yeah, of course. And when he first had it, I was like, okay, yeah, he's going to start forgetting things and where he is and or wherever. It's a lot worse than that. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I honestly wouldn't. And I've had other losses in my family, but, my dad was everything to me. He was the most inspirational man. And then to see him, kind of deteriorate slowly, it was so hard.
Can I ask you, say, just because a lot of us have parents of that age, I've got parents in their 70s and 80s and stuff like this. Listeners, if you're listening at home, if you've got parents of a certain age, there's so much out there in terms of the newspapers, you do worry. Just like they used to worry about us, we now worry when they get older. And you said, I thought it was just going to be him forgetting stuff, but it was a lot worse than that. What?
Dementia takes everything away from you. So, like, it starts off with forgot where the keys are or forgot, and then slowly over a long period of time, actually, it's not even straight away. I mean, it differs, but like I think over the period of 6-7 years, he forgot where he was, he forgot who
what
he
do you
was.
mean like
his surroundings? So he's forgot his surroundings, so he thinks he's in the Brent and he's in Wolverhampton, and he forgets who certain members of the family are, who he is. He thinks he's younger than he is. And then,
he's actually a different phase in his life. He's gone regressed.
Listen, I'll keep it real, man. Our community don't like to kind of talk about this kind of stuff and dementia. And I've been told, like in India, when this used to happen, they say, because they didn't understand that this is an illness. Do you know what I mean? It's only in recent times now. I'm on Twitter, always like kind of sharing this stuff about dementia, and it goes unnoticed. And I noticed that, you're not going to tweet that or retweet that. Do you know what I mean? And I think, why is it? Is it because we're embarrassed to talk about it, or
I think our community's embarrassed from anything that's even vaguely controversial. It's
guess what? This is going to affect, if it hasn't already, somebody a family member or a friend. 110%.
Aren't they saying 1 in 3, and it's rising?
So there's no point trying to sugarcoat it or avoid it, because it's going to hit you in the face anyway. And if anything, there should be kind of like more unity now, especially in our community. And it was good. We had carers coming 3 times a day, Punjabi carers as well. So, they made it as comfortable as possible. But like I said, I think with dementia, people don't understand that it's very slow.
Yeah.
And literally it goes all the way down to, how do you eat, bathing, all the rest of the stuff. That's how far it can get, man. So it was heartbreaking. I'm not going to, lie about it. And again, I'm very private. I didn't put a post up on social networks until after the funeral. So as soon as I put that up, all the industry friends and everyone's phoning me and all this. And I was like, it's just, my personal life's personal. I think this is the first time I'm actually speaking about it,
I just want to ask you this, and this is, I want to come back to your dad in a minute. We've got to celebrate him as well as talking about 100%. This stuff. At the time, all of this is going on. It's 7 years. You're telling me just how much, obviously, it's affecting you and the rest of your family. How the hell do you keep making music, taking bookings, going out, eating at someone's wedding on their happiest day when you know what your dad's going through?
See, this is where it becomes really, really difficult. I chose that life, to get in this music industry. And then, to me, I've always had to think of what would he say.
Yeah.
If he was in that position or he saw somebody, he'd say, even now, like, I had to get straight back into the industry and carry on with the shows and stuff, even after he'd gone. But I'd think, what would he want? And he'd be like, listen, if I'm ill, you're not ill. Get to work. Do you know what I mean? Do what you've got to do. And we had to, he couldn't stop, And at the same time, we didn't make a song and dance about it or make it even a big deal. We made it comfortable as we could for him, you know. But I think subconsciously, it's always in the back of your head. Every time I went abroad, I was worried that I was going to get a phone call, he's back in hospital. And I always have all these doubts in my head thinking, will I be in the country? Should he, you know, whenever the time comes, and all these horrible thoughts. And
just, can I ask, because I've still have both my parents, and you read this all the time. Oh, this person got a flight in time, so they were there when the person passed. I just want to say, like, I'm sorry if this sounds really ignorant. I don't get that, and I'm looking at my producer I know who's lost a parent as well. Sorry, is it really important? Just educate me. Is it really important to be there when that person passes? What is this?
Do you know what? It's your loved one, you know? Why would you want to be on the other side of the world? You know what I mean? From the very beginning to the very end, you want to be with your
I
loved
wasn't
ones,
questioning, you know? You want to be somewhere else partying. It's just that people always go on about, I wanted to make it back in time, or I didn't make it back in time.
No, I think like, for me personally, like when the time was going to come, because obviously we can't avoid it. Like when he had dementia, I knew it was going to go one way. I knew there's only a certain amount of time. So to me, it was just like, I want to make sure I'm close to my dad as much as I can every single day, every single hour. Now, work commitments are work commitments. And if people want me to go there to perform at their wedding and it's the happiest day of their life, then I'm going to celebrate that's the happiest day of their life, you know? And I had to jump straight back into it as well. Like when he passed away 2 weeks later, I was in Goa, you know? And it was so hard. It was so hard. But then what do you do? I spoke to my mom. My mom was like, no, you got to go and do this. And I was thinking, okay, you know, it is hard. It's hard. Sometimes I do question, was it the right thing, or is it the right thing what I'm doing? But what else do you know? You know, it's difficult.
Yeah. Look, I think you've already done it by talking about this. I just want you to, I think, just pay tribute to your dad by just telling us in one paragraph his legacy.
I can't do it in one paragraph if we'll really be honest with you, but I've already touched on it. I think like my dad was a very, very proud Sardar, Punjabi as they come. He did a lot for his community. He brought the whole family over here. He did above and beyond. And I know for a fact I'll only be half the man he was, man. So salute to Tara Singh Jandu, man.
Hero. Bro.
Yes.
So you've talked about your dad. Mm-hmm. May he rest in peace. And I think you paid such a beautiful tribute to him there.
Thank you, man.
I do feel like in a way Corny Janda was perfect.
Oh no, I noticed that song just came in. Thank you, man. Perfect.
No, well, it wasn't because of that. But it's just, you know, the universe, maybe even your father's energy working in mysterious ways.
For sure.
You've talked about the industry. Mm-hmm. You've said you're very private. So you don't have to talk about your personal life now. Okay. So I'm just going to ask you about your age, your generation, where you are right now. Haven't you kind of done it all? And aren't you in a situation where it could only be downhill from now on?
Don't say that, Bobby. Come on. No, not at all, man. Not at all.
By that I mean, like you've climbed a lot of mountains. Are there any mountains left for you to climb?
I don't think mountains, but there's certain things I still want to achieve in this industry, man. Music is global now. I know everyone harps on about UK Bhangra, and I think personally, my 2 pence worth is that was a time. You know, I think now music is worldwide. We're all on social networks. Music's coming from everywhere now. So, you know, and I'm lucky enough to travel, and there's still markets I still want to tap into more. You know, I've dipped my little toe into India and stuff, but I want to do more there. Yeah. You know, I'm opening doors in Mumbai. I want to do more there. And to me, how I am now in terms of even just training fit, eating clean, I feel so youthful. And it's funny because I didn't feel this good like in my mid-20s, that, you know, how I am now. So no, I
too many parathe.
I think it's too many parathe and pizzas then. But I think like I'm just still shifting through the gears, man.
Yeah.
And yes, I still need to settle down, and I think that will be in the near future as well. You know, that's something else I want to do. I know my mum's on my case and he, so, you know, and I'll do all these things as well. But
how old are you?
I'm 30 something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're not married yet? I'm going to say, Uncle, you're not married? That's cool, man.
Yeah, so I mean, that will happen as well. You know, that will happen. But yeah, should I tell you what it is? When in this industry, and even in the mainstream music industry, there's a lot of people I look up to, and I still see them. I mean, who did we see the other day? Malkeet Singh with Koni Singh dropping one of the big anthems. And, you know, Jazzy B was on the radio with us the other day.
Jazzy B's journey to fitness has been,
oh my gosh, exactly,
an unbelievable sight to behold.
So when you look that way, and you look at even like people like Punjabi MC, the legends still gigging and still doing stuff. It's like, yo, there's lots to do, yeah.
Let me just pick something out of what you've just told me about. You said everyone goes UK Bhangra, but it's more of a global music scene. Is that you essentially saying, forget harping on about the old days, forget going on about UK Bhangra, there's no UK Bhangra, there's not even Indian Bhangra anymore, it's just Bhangra.
Okay, if we're going to say UK Bhangra, are we going to start saying Canadian Bhangra now? And are we going to start saying Australian Bhangra now?
But actually they do, some people do
Shall
that.
I tell you what it is? Canada is a new emerging market, right? The artists have now started coming through there. And we know this because I've been gigging there for the last 10 years and there was no artist, it was just us going over there.
Yeah.
And it's great to see. And like people like Deep Jandu, you know, he used to come on like, I tweeted him the other day. I remember 2009 when he was first starting, and now he's killing it, top of the game. Salute to Deep, you know. Jandu, but you know, but like, no, I'm just saying, like, there's new emerging artists, and people are saying, oh, UK's on a back burner. No, actually, we've done it for 30 years. Let Canada come through as well. Let America come through, and Australia and all these other places. There's still new artists coming through. Gerd Sidhu, you know, he's flying the flag for UK. The Ezu, and there's still so many of us active in UK. I think people are just used to everything coming out of UK. So now it is, and it's like, oh, UK's on a back burner. No, we're not. I think now everyone's collaborating with everyone. There's music coming from all over the place, and let's embrace that world Bhangra rather than UK Bhangra.
It's such a simple answer, but you make total sense. We've carried on. the UK scene.
30 years.
We've carried on. We're still here.
Yeah,
all that's happened is there's been a real flowering and explosion in other places. And some people are basically getting a bit jealous.
No, I'm getting excited because I'm thinking, now, you know what? I want to go collaborate with that guy in Canada and shoot a video in Toronto and do this. And I was going to Chicago a few weeks ago, shot a video out there, went with a rapper called Rush Tool, who's absolutely dope.
I know Rush Tool. I played him on my show
he's going to blow up, man. And he's just featured on a new song of mine. So I'm like, this is amazing, you know? And at the same time, you know, I'm always one for pushing Brit Asian talent, and I still will do that as well. But let's kind of embrace what's going on right here, you know, on a world level. That's my 2 pence worth anyway.
Great, 2 pence worth. I think that's it. No more needs to be said. That's the end of the No Filter.
Thank you, Bobby.
PBN.
Yes.
Harpreet. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you so much, man. And you know what? I was nervous and excited about this, but this was so natural. And I want to say thank you to you and Asian Network, man. And hopefully people have listened in, you know, they can take something from it. Hopefully.
And then next time we can do it with maybe a bottle or a couple of glasses and go really, really mad.
Yeah, Ajime Punia.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you, bro.